Sony's journey in the gaming world has been punctuated by a series of groundbreaking titles that not only define genres, but also set the stage for a new era of interactive entertainment. In the early days of the original PlayStation, developers were given an unprecedented level of creative freedom. This creative landscape allowed studios to experiment with narrative, gameplay mechanics, and design aesthetics in ways that were previously unheard of. During the 1990s, the video game industry was still in its relative infancy. Developers were exploring uncharted territory, and every new title had the potential to revolutionize gaming. The early PlayStation era was characterized by a spirit of experimentation, where risk-taking was rewarded with iconic experiences. This was a time when technical constraints forced developers to be inventive, often leading to creative solutions that became defining elements of their franchises. For example, many of these early titles embraced a combination of cinematic storytelling and immersive gameplay. The synthesis of these two elements created experiences that went beyond mere entertainment. They became interactive art forms. This period is fondly remembered for its raw creativity, where narrative depth and gameplay innovation went hand in hand. As the gaming industry evolved, so too did consumer tastes and technological capabilities. The rapid advancement in graphics, processing power, and design philosophies meant that older titles sometimes began to appear outdated. Many of Sony's once revered franchises gradually fell by the wayside, as the company shifted its focus toward newer IPs and market trends. Several factors contributed to the dormancy of these franchises. Technological advancements. As hardware capabilities improved, many older games, designed for previous generation systems, were left behind. The jump to high-definition graphics and more complex gameplay mechanics made it challenging for older titles to remain competitive without significant reworking. Shifting market demands. The video game audience expanded and diversified over time. What once worked for a niche group of dedicated fans no longer captured the attention of a broader, more varied audience. Consequently, titles that were hugely popular in their time were sidelined in favor of games that aligned with contemporary tastes. Internal strategic changes. As corporate priorities shifted, some projects were deprioritized or shelved altogether. The need to maintain a competitive edge in a fast-moving market sometimes meant that reviving an old franchise was seen as a risky investment compared to launching entirely new concepts. Despite these challenges, the legacy of these dormant franchises continued to resonate with fans. Nostalgia played a crucial role in keeping the memory of these titles alive, as dedicated communities of gamers celebrated their favorite classics through fan art, remastered videos, and unofficial modifications. Over the years, there have been several attempts, both official and unofficial, to bring these forgotten franchises back into the spotlight. Some revivals have enjoyed moderate success, while others have faltered due to various challenges. Sony has dabbled in reviving classic titles on a few notable occasions. Remastered editions of beloved games have often provided a glimpse into how modern technology can enhance classic experiences without compromising the original charm. For instance, the remastered versions of Insert Game Title and Insert Game Title were met with enthusiasm, as they successfully updated graphics and gameplay while preserving the core narrative and aesthetic that made them iconic. These efforts have shown that there is a delicate balance between maintaining the essence of a classic game and modernizing its features to meet contemporary standards. Successful revivals typically involve a deep understanding of what made the original special, be it innovative mechanics, compelling storytelling, or memorable characters, and then enhancing these elements with modern polish. In addition to official endeavors, the gaming community has been incredibly resourceful in its own right. Fan-made projects and mods have often served as unofficial tributes to these long-forgotten franchises. These grassroots efforts showcase the passion and dedication of the community, as fans reimagine what their favorite games could be with the benefit of modern technology. One notable example is the fan restoration of Insert Game Title, where dedicated modders not only updated the graphics, but also expanded the gameplay with new levels and features. These projects have a dual benefit. They revive the cultural impact of these games and also serve as proof of concept for how external developers might tackle the challenges of modernizing older IPs. While not every attempt at reviving a dormant franchise has been successful, there are several key lessons that can be gleaned from these efforts. Respect the source material. Successful revivals honor the original vision of the game. Fans are quick to point out when a reboot strays too far from what made the original great. A respectful balance between innovation and tradition is essential. Innovative adaptation. Bringing a classic title into the modern era requires more than just updated graphics. It demands a thoughtful integration of contemporary gameplay mechanics and technology. Whether it's implementing AI-driven behaviors, dynamic storylines, or advanced physics engines, innovation is the key to resonating with both old fans and new players. Community engagement. The active involvement of the fan community can serve as both a guide and a testing ground for new ideas. Engaging with fans through beta tests, forums, and social media can provide invaluable feedback during development, ensuring that the final product aligns with expectations. Flexible licensing models. Past efforts have shown that a rigid one-size-fits-all approach rarely works. Tailoring licensing agreements to accommodate various types of developers, from indie studios to larger third-party teams, could create a more dynamic ecosystem for revivals. Modern technology offers unprecedented opportunities to breathe new life into legacy franchises. Here, we examine some of the key technological trends that could facilitate a successful revival of Sony's dormant IPs. Today's hardware is capable of producing photorealistic graphics that were once the stuff of science fiction. Real-time rendering techniques, advanced shaders, and high-resolution textures can transform classic titles into visually stunning experiences. By leveraging these technologies, developers could recreate the atmospheric environments and character designs of classic games with a level of detail that exceeds even the wildest fan expectations. Imagine a remastered version of a once iconic franchise where every environment is rendered in breathtaking detail and every character is brought to life with realistic animations. This isn't just a technical upgrade. It's an opportunity to immerse players in a world that feels both nostalgic and entirely new. Artificial intelligence, AI, has come a long way since the early days of gaming. Modern AI can adapt to a player's behavior, creating a more personalized and challenging experience. For classic franchises that relied on static enemy patterns or predetermined storylines, the introduction of adaptive AI could revolutionize gameplay. Adaptive AI would allow enemies to learn from player tactics, modify their strategies, and even alter the game's difficulty in real time. This level of interactivity could transform a once linear experience into a dynamic, replayable adventure that keeps players engaged long after the initial playthrough. Another significant development in recent years is the rise of cloud gaming. With powerful servers handling the heavy lifting, games can be streamed directly to a variety of devices without the need for high-end hardware. This opens up the possibility of reviving older franchises for a broader audience, including players who might not own the latest consoles. Cloud gaming also facilitates cross-platform play, allowing communities to come together regardless of the device they use. By licensing dormant franchises for modern platforms, Sony could ensure that these classic titles are accessible to a diverse audience, creating a unified gaming experience that spans generations. Virtual reality, VR, has introduced an entirely new dimension to interactive storytelling. The immersive nature of VR allows players to step into the shoes of their favorite characters, experiencing games from a perspective that traditional formats simply cannot match. For legacy franchises with rich, atmospheric worlds, VR could offer a transformative experience. Consider a VR adaptation of a classic adventure game, where players can explore intricately detailed environments, solve puzzles through physical interaction, and experience the game's narrative in a deeply immersive way. This technology not only modernizes the experience, but also adds an entirely new layer of engagement that can attract a fresh audience. Modern game development is increasingly modular. With engines that support easy updates and community-driven content, developers can release games that evolve over time. This is particularly relevant for classic franchises, where a base game can serve as the foundation for continuous innovation through downloadable content, DLC, mods, and community patches. Modular design enables developers to integrate new features gradually, responding to player feedback and adapting to emerging trends. For legacy titles, this means that a revival doesn't have to be a one-and-done effort. It can be a living, evolving experience that grows alongside its community. To better understand how these technological advancements can be harnessed, it's useful to look at a few case studies where classic franchises were successfully revived through innovative approaches. Titles such as Insert Classic Game Title and Insert Classic Game Title have shown that remastered editions can spark renewed interest among both veterans and newcomers. These projects not only updated visuals and performance, but also incorporated modern gameplay enhancements that elevated the overall experience. In many cases, the remasters served as a catalyst for renewed discussions about the franchise, leading to further projects and merchandise opportunities. The indie gaming scene has proven time and again that passion projects can capture the imagination of a community. Games developed by small studios or even individual modders have breathed new life into once-forgotten franchises, proving that a modest budget is no barrier to creative brilliance. These projects often rely on a deep understanding of the source material and a willingness to innovate within its framework. While the technological opportunities are vast, the path to licensing and reviving these franchises is not without its challenges. Intellectual property rights, brand consistency, and the risk of over-commercialization are significant concerns that Sony and potential external partners must navigate carefully. One of the biggest hurdles is ensuring that any licensed project remains true to the original vision, while also allowing for creative reinterpretation. This balance is delicate, and missteps could lead to fan backlash. Developing robust licensing agreements that protect the integrity of the IP while encouraging innovation is a key step in the process. Sony's brand has been built on a reputation for quality and originality. Any revival project must honor that legacy while being willing to take creative risks. Too much deviation could alienate longtime fans, while too little innovation might render the project obsolete in today's fast-paced market. Reviving a dormant franchise is inherently risky. The investment required to modernize an old IP, both in terms of technology and creative talent, can be significant. Sony will need to weigh the potential returns against the financial risks. However, successful revivals could open up new revenue streams and enhance brand loyalty, making it a risk worth taking. Perhaps the greatest opportunity lies in collaboration. By licensing its dormant franchises to capable third-party developers, Sony can tap into a global pool of creative talent. This not only alleviates some of the financial burdens, but also fosters a culture of innovation. Collaborative projects can benefit from diverse perspectives, resulting in products that might have been unimaginable within the confines of a single studio. As we stand at the crossroads of technological innovation and nostalgic fervor, the question remains: is Sony ready to embrace a new paradigm of licensing its dormant franchises? The evidence from both fan sentiment and past revival attempts suggests that there is a tremendous appetite for change. By opening up its back catalog, Sony could transform a perceived liability, the dormant IPs, into a vibrant asset. This move would signal a shift towards a more open, collaborative model of game development, one where the passion of the community is recognized as a valuable driver of innovation. Imagine a future where the boundaries between official and community-driven content blur, where indie developers and major studios work side by side to breathe life into classic worlds. This could lead to an ecosystem where games are not static products, but evolving experiences that continually adapt to new trends and technologies. In our extensive interviews with industry experts, developers, and longtime PlayStation fans, a common sentiment emerged: the longing for a return to the creative freedom and innovation of the early gaming era. Many expressed excitement at the prospect of revisiting familiar worlds with fresh eyes, while others cautioned against the pitfalls of commercialization. Expert insights. Several developers noted that external teams often bring unexpected innovations to the table, ideas that in-house teams might overlook due to corporate constraints. Industry analysts pointed out that licensing dormant franchises is not just about nostalgia. It's a strategic move that can position Sony as a forward-thinking leader in a rapidly evolving market. Financial experts highlighted that diversifying revenue streams through licensing can reduce the financial risks associated with large-scale internal projects, while also tapping into new markets. Community perspectives. Longtime fans recounted their personal experiences with these classic games, sharing memories of how these titles shaped their passion for gaming. Many community members expressed a strong desire to see fan-driven projects evolve into official, high-quality releases, citing successful indie projects as proof that great things can come from unexpected places. The overall consensus was that a carefully managed licensing model could rejuvenate the PlayStation brand and foster a renewed sense of community engagement. In summary, this episode has taken a deep dive into the evolution of Sony's dormant franchises, examining both the creative heights of their origins and the challenges that led to their dormancy. We've discussed the successes and failures of past revival attempts, the lessons learned from those endeavors, and how modern technology, from high-fidelity graphics to AI and cloud gaming, can pave the way for a new era of revival. This historical and technological perspective sets the stage for the next part of our series, where we will explore the financial implications, licensing strategies, and the potential risks and rewards of such a bold move by Sony. We'll examine how a well-executed licensing strategy might not only reinvigorate old favorites, but also shape the future of the PlayStation brand in a competitive gaming market. Stay tuned for the next episode, where we dive deeper into the financial and strategic landscape surrounding these licensing opportunities, featuring insights from industry insiders and a closer look at the market dynamics at play.